Welcome to the Aligned Ambition Show, where we share women's entrepreneurial wisdom. Are you a woman starting or growing your online heart-centered business? Are you wanting to do things differently? Do you feel icky about using manipulative marketing tactics and are ready to align your business with your ethics, values, and life goals? If this sounds like you, then stick around for this conversation.
We're the dreamers, the believers, breaking through the mold, building up our visions with a purpose brave and bold.
All right. Well, we are live for the Aligned Ambition Show. I'm Larissa Russell, and today I have with me Susan Shatzer. Susan is the driving force behind the Limitless Life Institute. Her approach comes from over 2 decades of experience in energy work and personal development. Susan integrates ancient wisdom and cutting-edge practices, which have led thousands of profound personal and professional transformations. Susan helps people heal and thrive, catalyzing a ripple effect beyond the individual, touch the lives of communities and our collective consciousness. I love that. We've been talking a lot lately about the collective consciousness, so I love that. So welcome, Susan. Welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here with you today. We are going to blow up some people's foundations, blow some minds out of the water, and create a different possibility for a lot of people.
I love that. That sounds perfect. Yes. And Bethany is saying, so excited to be here today. So thank you. Thank you for that. And I'm going to start with what I ask everyone, because I always want to know. How did you end up, tell us a little more about you, but also how did you end up doing what you do? How did you come to this?
Yeah, so I think it was kind of like planned by someone or something else before I got here. So my mom's water broke on August 22nd, Larissa, and I wasn't born until September 8th. Yeah.
As a mother, that's terrifying.
Yes. And back then, this was 1968, like they didn't actually track that stuff. So I was like, said to my dad, that's 18 days. Like, how did you not know it was 18 days? He's like, because we just didn't track that stuff back then. So I said, what'd you do? He said, well, we took you to the doctor. My mom, I took your mother to the doctor, and the doctor said, look, every day when you get home from work, take your wife on a bumpy road. We'll get that baby out. So that was in Massachusetts, and that was the best medical advice that they had at the time in order to get me out. So I truly was just like hanging out inverted, and I asked, like I was tapped on the shoulder, and my guardian angel, she said, do the math on that. And I was like, okay. So I wanted to know where I was and what I was doing. And this like particles, I could see time stop, this lucid dream screen drops down, and I'm in heaven, having it out with the Lord. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing this. I know the rules up here and I get to choose. This one, not for me, tapping out. It's got to be somebody else up here more qualified. Lo and behold, here I am. He opened his arms and he said, basically, like all of those twinkling lights that were in there were souls waiting for me to come to earth in order to support them and help them on their soul's evolution, which is why we incarnate. So it was a sort of predetermined that this is what I would be doing. And so I've just gone through my life pretty much as so planned, and things just came online as they became available. And here I am in service to humanity, helping them create a different possibility.
I love that. I love that. So have you known since birth then? I feel like you probably fought it in life as well, if you're anything like me, which you sound like you are. Tell us how that journey happened.
Yeah, so it's so interesting. So I came in without the veils, so I could see the unseen, hear the unheard, I knew the unknown. But growing up, I was the oldest, and my sister's 3 years younger than I am. So, like I just thought everyone had access to like all of that too. And it wasn't until, I don't know if it's just us, Larissa, or like Italians or from the North, I'm not sure, but we had the same picture. And I say this lovingly of our dead relatives, those who've crossed over, our ancestors. We have the same picture, but we all put them in different frames and then hung them in different rooms in each of our homes. So there was my grandmother's house, my aunt's house, and my mother's house. Same picture, different frame, different location. I'm at my aunt's house for Thanksgiving, Christmas, whatever it happened to be. And my great grandfather is standing by his picture. And that's what would happen is when the family would get together, we'd all start talking about the good old days. And like, do you remember when Uncle this did that? Do you remember when Grandpa blah, 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 did that? Well, we'd be speaking about them in loving, joyful mannerisms. So their consciousness, their essence would be drawn to our location and they would go hang out by their pictures. And I just thought that's what happened all the time in everyone's house with every holiday. And it wasn't until my great grandfather, he was sort of having a come apart. And I just say a come apart because he was like frustrated, angry. He had like a cane, he had a top hat, he had a pocket watch. He's like snapping at clothes and slamming his cane down and walking back and forth and sticking his hands in his pockets. And I just got up and walked over. I was like, Noni, Josh, what's going on? And he's like, well, I don't know where Nona Betta is. It's dinner time. He didn't go like this. He had his pocket watch. It's dinner time and I don't know where she is. And dinner's supposed to be here and I'm hungry and all this kind of stuff. And that's when I realized that they were in a loop. It was a loop that they had created. So I just leaned back, Larissa, like that to look on the other side of the china cabinet because that's where her picture was hanging at my aunt's house. And as I looked around, her picture wasn't there. So I asked my aunt, I was like, hey, where's Nona Beth's picture? Great grandmother Elizabeth. And she said, well, her picture fell and it's at a restoration location. Like these are like really antique frames. It's not like you can take it to Hobby Lobby and just have them do it. Like it has to go to a restoration person. So I said to him, I go, oh, she probably just went with her picture. He's like, she what? like had no idea what I was talking about. I go, look, you wanted to eat dinner. We're about to eat. Why don't you come with us? He goes, oh, you're having dinner? All right. Who are you again? I go, I'm your great granddaughter. Really? So he just came. Well, my mom saw my mother was like, what are you doing? And I was like, well, Nanu Josh is here. And, he's looking for Nona Betta and all this kind of stuff. He's like, she said, well, like, you may want to keep that to yourself. I was brought up Catholic and all of that I was experiencing was sacrilegious and that it was demonic and I was going to hell. So pretty much that got shut down almost instantaneously. And then as I left Massachusetts, I was hired by Walt Disney World to be a dancer. I moved to Florida. And with the separation of that distance, I was able to kind of search and explore and have my own experiences. And that's when everything sort of just kind of started to snowball.
It's interesting. As I was listening to you, my wife is a medium and she channels, and she also raised Catholic, is a Catholic school teacher. And so she's had a lot of that, keeping it quiet. When do I talk? When do I not talk? And being able to, share with people.
Yes.
And now her family's much more open. When she was younger, again, she thought everything was normal, right? Everybody has these experiences. Why is this different?
Right.
Until somebody tells you
Yes.
that it's not okay.
Yes.
And it's amazing how we just then change ourselves.
Yes.
Because somebody tells us it's not okay.
Yes.
Yeah. And so being able to come back to this amazing gift that you have, and I personally believe anybody can. However, some people are more open to it happening. Mine is very different than hers. So, but being able to come back to that, how was that for you? How did that open things up for you?
So it was dynamic in a sense because I had to collapse in on myself to stop it from happening, to shut it down, versus expanding out and having access to greater awareness and consciousness and tools and resources. So it wasn't until I got here, and I think the North is like, they're behind the times, the Northeast. It's like, yeah, we've got to take a look at some things. There's some consciousness that would like to come out, would like to be a part of our lives in order to create a different possibility for us, that we just are so, especially the adults, are locked into that paradigm of this is the way we've done it. We've always done it. Our parents did it that way. And I'm sure you've heard your parents, and Yeah, it's the parents before that. And if it's not broken, we don't fix it. It's that we were indoctrinated into that we have automatically running in the background. And so here as a master pattern interrupter to break that pattern, to shift into a different possibility and create something even greater through conscious education,
I
which
love
is
that.
what I'm creating for the United States.
Yeah. And then how do you help people do that, right? To move into that greater consciousness. I talk about it a lot, and I work with people one-on-one to, get them to look at things differently and start to listen in and pay attention. How do you do it to get people to actually tap in, right, to what's happening?
Yeah. So like attracts like here on planet Earth. And when they have a question or they're asking for something that I have the awareness of or can support them with, that's when they show up in my reality. So they'll hear me on a live stream show like yours, like Aligned Ambitions, or a podcast or a radio show, or I'll meet them at an event. And it will be like an instant, like I had to come over and say hi, or I love your energy, or, you just remind me of someone I know. And we'll get talking. And the next thing you're like, okay, get your calendar out because I'd like to make an appointment. I'm like, okay, here we go.
Mm-hmm.
And we get together. So I have the ability to go into someone's unconsciousness, no, their subconscious, because subconscious creates the reality. I go into their subconscious and we can pull out the unconsciousness that's in there. So it's the things that are secret, hidden, invisible, like they've blocked, unseen, unsaid, unacknowledged kind of stuff. And I have like 3 teams that I work with, and then I have 3 teams of theirs that also come and work together. So we've got the angelic realm, we've got the galactic realm, and we've got the indigenous team. So those are the 3 teams.
I love that. It sounds very shamanic to me when the practices of, going inward and working with those pieces, bringing those pieces back. Sounds very shamanic to me. Now, is this something that you've learned or just you've grown over time?
Yeah, I
Came
didn't,
to you.
I kind of like, so yeah, so I tap into like the collective consciousness, humanity, and I like, I can see everything that's kind of happening, and I can see what's different, what's new, what's coming up, what is, being eliminated, what's being removed, what's popping in. And it's also with the kids that are coming in, they're bringing in different vibrational frequencies that we didn't have available to us. And you know how we're more aware than our parents, Larissa?
Mm-hmm.
Well, our kids are more aware than we are.
I was just having this conversation today with my daughter.
They are unapologetic about what works for them and what does not work for them. When we grew up, we were like, yes, mom, yes, dad. Okay. Yep. I get it. Yep. Those are the rules. I'll follow along. My son is not a disrespectful situation. It's just like, yeah, that doesn't work for me. And I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, well, what would work for you? It's this, they're in their power. They are the kids that are coming in, and it's them getting this conscious education that we're creating to them. That's how we will do the ascension, because I've already gone in and seen it. I said the adults are not ready to give it up. Not enough of us are ready to give it up to its entirety in order for us to reach the frequency for ascension. But our children, when we get this conscious education system to them, when we're not fold stapling and making them get pasted into a box of this reality, they're the ones that are going to increase their vibrational frequency, and we will 100th monkey in from them by them.
Yes.
That's why the focus is on the children.
I love this because I literally was just having this conversation with my daughter, like right before this call. And so I was talking.
I know these things. I know.
So it's like, she was just talking mostly about, what she's becoming aware of, and she's caught in the middle of it, I feel, because she's 37, so she's kind of caught in the middle of it, whereas my grandkids are 7 and 13, and they're much more, yeah, this is the way it is. But there's always these little struggles that we go through as we try to learn from our children and figure things out.
Yeah, it's the third dimension. It's all about duality and polarity. That's what we're going to get rid of. That's one of the things we're getting rid of in the education system, is because it doesn't have to be right or wrong, good or bad. It's not this or that. It's like this, that, and something else.
Yes.
This or something else. Like there's that one extra piece that we were never allowed to. It's like black or white. Well, because we were taught that you can only see the colors that are in the large crayon box. If it's something other than that, it doesn't exist.
Yeah. And there's so much more than that. So much more than that. Yes. So for our women that are watching that, are starting businesses or have, are thinking about starting their businesses, having a different outlook on how things are done, how does that affect your business and the work you do?
Yeah. So the biggest gift that I can give is that you've never done anything wrong. Everything that you've experienced, you pre-ordered before you got here for your soul's evolution. And in pre-ordering those experiences, you've also employed other actors to give you those experiences, and you were employed by others to give them experiences. So you've all been in the play together of this lifetime. And when you are willing to acknowledge that and know, you're able to take a bow, the curtain can come down, you can get your standing ovation, collect your flowers, and then exit stage left and go to a different stage, go to a different play, and invite your actors and actresses in to then play with you. And that's what it's like when you're starting a brand new business, especially for women. It's like you get to call this play that you're currently in now, over, terminated, done. And you step into a new one, and that's your new business. And you can invite your new partners in, your new clients in, your new resources, your new collaborators. And that's where the fun is.
It really is. It really is. And I think we'll see a lot. We saw a lot through the pandemic, and we'll see more with the transitions that are happening now in North America. But it's a global transition we're seeing. And I think if we can just allow ourselves, to be okay with the changes, just be okay with the changes. I talk about them like the morning after the election and waking up in a calm state. And I was really shocked at how calm I was, because it finally came to my awareness. This is the shift we're in, right? This is the shift. And we need to get uncomfortable to move forward. And if we don't get uncomfortable, we're not going to move forward. And so we're really uncomfortable right now. And so amazing things are coming. And so this was like just such an amazing awareness to come into. Yeah, exactly. And so for women to know, anybody really, but I work with women, for women to know that amazing things can happen. Just get uncomfortable. Just get uncomfortable and amazing things can happen. What would be, a piece of advice, if you will, for anyone?
So, I was speaking on a cruise in December, and they asked the same question. I said, so you're either divinely guided or you're not. You can't be a little bit pregnant. It's that easy. Either you're divinely guided all the time, the good, the bad, the other, or you're not. But you can't be on again, off again, like I'm guided here, but I'm not guided there. No, everything is happening exactly the way it's supposed to happen, in the time frame when it's supposed to happen.
Mm-hmm. Allowing.
Yes.
Allowing has been my big message this year. It's just allowing.
Is that your key word?
It's just, it's not, but it's the thing that keeps coming back to me. My word is unstoppable this year, but it's this idea of stop getting in your own way. Like, you signed up for this. All of these things that have happened that other people consider like the worst things in the world, that happened to you, have made me who I am. This is the person I am because of it. I wouldn't be here doing what I do without it. So
Yeah.
yes, I could wish that I'd had a much easier life. I could have wished that, this didn't happen or that didn't happen. They
Yeah.
did. And
Yeah.
I am this person because of it. So I can allow myself to move forward from that, or I can stay locked in the past. I prefer to allow myself to move forward from that. And so, yeah, so true. So true.
Huge. That's huge because you're in the question. Questions always empower you. You're able to kind of take a look at things from a macro perspective versus like, this is happening to me versus, oh, this is happening. And it's a much different place to view your life from.
It really is. It's the sense of ease, right?
Yes.
I've always been working on myself, doing, healing work, which I think is vitally important if you're going to have your own business, let me say, because it will push all the buttons, doing that with self-awareness work. But when you get to the comfort of, everything is happening as it should, and when you just allow things and stop fighting things, it all unfolds. You just have to get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's sort of like we have now come into a frequency point where you get to choose. So either people are contributing to you, they're neutral, or they're taking away from you. And when we were growing up, it was, well, their family, these that are taking away from you, their family, their friends, their neighbors, they're close, they're Christians, they belong to our church, they belong to our school, they belong to your team, that's your teacher, you know what I mean? And now we're like, no. I don't have to choose those because that choice is based on obligation and responsibility, which is a program that was run. And the whole blood is thicker than water thing is like, no, my sister is not the nicest person. She's not the kindest person. Or my brother, is not someone that I would choose to hang out with. And it ends up that, that was our parents' paradigm. We grew up with our friends can be family. Their family. And our kids are growing up with the look, either you're in or you're out, or it's the next. like you choose. Like it's much faster than even how we were doing it. And then those neutral people now, I'm like, wait a minute, I have to go over to the neutral side and get them all excited and jazzed up and, spend my energy here to bring them to the side where they're contributing with me. I'm like, I don't have time for that. I don't have time for the neutrals anymore. I really don't. I'm like, you're in, you're out, or you're on with the next.
Yeah. And that is how fast it's all happening now, right?
Yes.
And knowing your own self is the only way through it. Because if you're relying on somebody to pull you along, or you're, still going and looking for those people and pulling them along, you're going to get lost in it all. Just you need to know your own self to be able to move forward. And because things are moving very quickly, very quickly.
Yeah. And what's true for me, Larissa, may not be true for you. And what's true for you may not be next to the next entrepreneurial woman. So it's, being okay with what your truth is, and being able to stand in your power with that. That's when the authenticity just blows through the roof.
Yeah. Yeah. Hence why people are asking for more authenticity, why they don't need all the shiny anymore. Right?
Yes.
If you're still being wooed by the shiny, you need to just rub that away and see what's underneath. Because there's a lot more. Look inward.
Absolutely.
I think the pandemic gave us time to start that process for a lot of people. Right? There was a lot of us on that journey, but yeah.
It was so interesting. When the pandemic came in and everyone was housed, the lockdown, the curfews, no work, hybrid, no school from home, everyone was panicking. And I went into the collective consciousness and I was like, I think you asked for that. You asked to have more time with your family. You even said I would do anything to have more time with my family. Yeah. I would take, if I had more vacation, I would spend it with my family. If I
Mhm.
didn't have to work 80 hours a week out of the office or travel so much, I would spend it with my family. I'm like, wish came true. Look
Yeah.
what you created.
You created more time for family, to start that business, to write that book, to do the healing. Whatever it was, you created that time. Whether or not you took it is another thing altogether.
And it's kind of like because it showed up differently than how anyone had thought it would. They
Mhm.
thought they would quit their job and just have all the time, or they'd get to the next position and they'd get an extra week of vacation, or their company would hire somebody else and then the work would be split and they'd work less hours. Like there was all of these things that people were like, this is how it's going to happen. This is how I'll be able to spend more time. But then the pandemic came in. It was like, yeah, we're just going to flip it on its back.
Which is often what happens, right?
Mhm.
We don't get to decide how it happens. That's not up to us. And so again, do we go with it or do we fight it?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
ask and ye shall receive.
Mhm.
Just don't kill
Absolutely.
the messenger.
I want to give you a moment to tout your newest book. 15th book, is it? Your 15th book?
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that.
So the book is called Your Limitless Life. And there are going to be 7 specific strategies in there that are going to support you to go from unfulfilled to unstoppable in your life. And it's going to be on all levels, professionally, financially, emotionally, spiritually, energetically. Like it's all encompassing, and it's a game changer. And it's sort of like, when we gave birth to our kids, like our kids didn't come with an owner's manual.
So true.
We were like, however, I have found someone who's going to be teaching at the Limitless Life Institute who does a birth blueprint for parents. She can
That
do
would
that.
have been good.
She
That would
pulls
have been good.
amazing. And she can do a death blueprint. And that is incredible too. So you got to keep watch for the Limitless Life Institute, because that is going to be amazing. So this book with the 7 specific strategies, it's going to be like, here's your manual to maneuver and navigate the third dimension, here with all the trials and tribulations. So
Wow. And when does that come out?
I know, it's so exciting. So it's in different stages. Like there's different people working on different parts that are in different stages. So I actually have a movie coming out first.
Yes, that was going to be my next question. Tell us about that.
So the movie is The Pillars of Power, and I'll be featured with 5 of the original The Secret movie stars, and we all get together, and it's like 20-year anniversary of The Secret. So The Pillars of Power is all about it's just the new awarenesses that we have. A lot of them are still talking about the same stuff they've been doing for 20 years, and then there's a new, like the new people that are in the metaphysical world and on holistic wellness, that are stepping up with new awarenesses that we have, new tools, new strategies, new game plans, new awarenesses that we have, that we're just laying it all out there. You have to go see that. And then the book will be out after the movie, The Pillars of Power.
Oh, I love that. I love that. So when does the movie come out?
This fall.
This fall. And then the book will be out after that. Okay. Okay.
Probably in the spring.
So you're hyping me up way too soon, because, I'll be like, where? And then something else will grab my attention. But we'll make sure that we let people know when it does happen as well. We'll
Yeah.
give them a reminder.
Like, this is like going to be a game changer movie for people. It's being brought in. It's funded by the LA Tribune.
Mhm.
The LA Tribune, I'm one of the producers of it as well. And I got to interview the CEO of the LA Tribune, Mo Rock. And my questions to him were like, just blew him out of the water, because I had said, of all the movies you could pick to be your first movie, because they've never done a movie like this. Movie department that they have at the LA Tribune is brand new. He could have done horror, sci-fi, love story, like good guy, bad guy, like cowboy. He could have done anything that would have netted more money, that would have netted more money. But he told a documentary. And that to me was interesting. And I needed to know why. Why now? Why this? And he said that so many of humanity, like all around the world, has pretty much lost hope and can't trust the media. And the media's lied to them, they've misled them, that they've withheld information, like there's no trust there. And he says, I would like to gain their trust back. And this is one of the ways that I'm going to start that process, is with this movie that is all about truth. So I just thought that was incredibly, it was not about the money, it was about the truth and reestablishing our faith in the LA Tribune as being a top line, top mark media that we can trust and look forward to.
I love that. And it's interesting, as you're saying that, I'm thinking about these new sort of news groups that are coming about that are more about the truth instead of the money, right? So they're always doing their fundraising and all of that, kind of like the old PBS, if you will. And, because they want to bring the truth as opposed to what they're told to write and spinning it in a certain way, which has been happening for so long. So I love that. I love that shift is happening. Yeah.
Isn't that exciting?
It really is. It really is. So where can people find you now? Because, the movie's like, that's months away. Where can they find you now?
So my website is my first and last name. So susanshatzer.com. You can find me on the website. I'm on all media platforms as well, social media. So you can pop in any of those locations. But when you go to my website, there's a booking link right there. And it was one of the things, Larissa, that when I was looking at your audience and the needs of the women that are starting our business or getting it started or thinking about it, could really use some one-on-one time with me. So that is my gift, is my one-on-one time. So it's 30 minutes, no cost consultation. Like, let's go in, let me dive in, let me get your angelic team here. Let's do some work and see what we can get rid of. So we will help you dump some of your cup out. So then you can invite in that which you'd like to have in your life. Right now, when your cup is so full, if we go to put anything in, we're going to make a mess on the table.
Yeah.
So we got to get rid of that stuff that no longer serves you.
I love it. I love it. And the link is below. So, it's already there. So go and push it now, book before everybody else does. And I want to thank you so much. Is there anything that we maybe didn't say that you're like, think everybody needs to know?
So yeah, so my angelic team is like, you may want to mention the word want. Yeah. So we were brought up with a definition of the word want. And there was this huge propaganda campaign, like, what do you want to eat for dinner? And what do you want for lunch? And what do you want? Like, what do you want to play for sports this year? And what do you want for your birthday? And what do you want to be when you grow up? And there was this want. So we grew up believing that it was about manifesting. The more you wanted, the more you'd get. The more you wanted, it was like a deep want, like you really, 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 really wanted something, whether it was the Spider-Man costume, the princess dress, the new Ferrari, whatever it was. The harder you wish, the more you wanted it, the sooner you'd get it, or the easier it would be to show up. Well, the definition was actually changed on us. The definition of want means lack, less than, and not enough. So everything's energy. That includes our thoughts, our feelings, and our emotions, as well as the food we eat, the clothes we wear, and the technology we're using. So what happens, Larissa, is that you're saying to the universe, I lack a new job, I lack a princess dress, I lack the Spider-Man costume, and I lack the Ferrari. And so God, source, universe, whatever that is for you, it's like, okay, here's more lack, here's more not enough, here's more less than. And so you self-sabotage yourself because you have the belief system that want means to manifest and receive.
And it's the opposite.
Yes. And it's always in the future. So when you want something, you can't have it now because it's not here now. It's going to be here in the future. So when you get to that future now moment, it's in the next future moment. So you can never have it at the time in which you're asking for it. So the best change would be to I am and I have, and that keeps you in the present moment.
I love that. Important, very important, and a great note to end on. So thank you. Thank you again for being here with me today.
Thank you so much. It's been a blessing.
All right. And to our listeners, we will see you again next time on the Aligned Ambition Show. Are you a woman interested in aligning your heart-centered business with your ethics, values, and life goals? Join our Aligned Business Building Mastermind for accountability, like-minded women who become your business colleagues to share your journey with, resources and trainings, and so much more. Join us for 1 month free using the link below. Thank you, and we'll see you next time on the Aligned Ambition Show.